Have you ever wondered if there was a way to have all your favourite retro games in one place? Play them with better resolution and more responsive controls? Well guys, this video is for you. In this video I'm going to show you how to make your Raspberry Pi into a retro gaming console. Let's begin. Hi guys, I'm Simon and this is my channel LOG. You're just about to see how to turn your Raspberry Pi into a retro gaming console. I'm excited to show you how to do that. And I also just want to say I make gaming videos and product review videos. So consider subscribing if you want to see more of those. Let's begin with the video. Okay guys, so this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a SD card, a micro SD card. Around 16 gigabytes should work. A keyboard. I've gone with a wireless keyboard. You don't have to use a wireless keyboard. You can just use a USB plug-in one if you like. Your Raspberry Pi. I have a Raspberry Pi 3, the newest one, model B version 2. You're going to want a micro USB charger for your Raspberry Pi. And probably you can have a case, which I do. You don't have to have one if you don't want to. And a gamepad. And something really useful would be a SD card adapter. So once you start your Raspberry Pi for the first time, this is what happens. You'll be met with the startup screen for Retropie. And then after this, you won't see on my one, but you will meet the configurations menu where you set up your first controller to the game. I'm going to just show you how to do that in case you don't know how to. So you can press start. I clicked off the configurations menu to do that. So we go to configure input, press A. Are you sure you want to configure input? Yes. So it's detected my gamepad that I'm holding in my hand now. And now we just want to configure the buttons. So up, down, left, right, start, select, A, B, X, Y, left shoulder, right shoulder, there. And then we want to press and hold down on the other buttons because this control pad doesn't have any of the remaining buttons. Or any analog sticks. Okay. So now our controller is configured and ready to use to play. So we've just set up our controller to play games. The next thing we want to do is to go into configurations here, and here we want to go to set it up our Wi-Fi. Here you can change a number of things. You can go to Bluetooth, turn that on and connect Bluetooth devices, change the audio types, manage your files, and here's a Retropie setup. If anything goes wrong with your system, you can change it and improve it here. But we want to do the Wi-Fi. So you go down to the Wi-Fi settings, press A, and you'll be met with this screen. All you have to do is press connect with Wi-Fi. It will ask for your password. Enter your password and then you wait for it to connect. And once it's connected, we can go to our next step where we want to add ROMs to our console. Oh yeah, the Retropie also has an Ethernet port at the back, so you can just plug it directly with an Ethernet cable if you don't want to set up Wi-Fi. So I'm going to show you my preferred method to add ROMs to our Retropie. You can also add them by USB, but I find it this way is much easier. With our Raspberry Pi turned on and connected to the internet on the same network as we're using with our laptop, we can go to our shared computers and you can see that Retropie is here. If I click on Retropie, once it loads up, it'll show me all the files on the Retropie. While we're waiting, I'll just bring up some ROMs. So let's see what ROMs I have. Okay, so it's loaded, and here's the ROM file. If we open that, it'll show us all the emulators that we can use. So we can use Game Boy Advance. Alright, let's use Game Boy Advance. I've got some Pokemon ROMs, I think, in my folder. Okay, Pokemon Red. Wait, Pokemon Fire Red, Game Boy Advance. So I can click on that and drag it into here to Game Boy Advance. Drop that in the Game Boy Advance folder. Let's open it up to check. And it's copying it into the Retropie folder. So once it's finishing uploading to my Retropie, we can go back to the console and test it out to see it working. It's just taking its time right now, and there it is. So I can close that now, close my folders, and we can turn around, go to the back to our TV, and Retropie. I think it may require a restart before we do this. So I'm going to go back, Retropie, press start, squeaky controller, quit, restart system, yes. So if we just restart the system, and we should see a new label for Game Boy Advance. And we should be able to play Pokemon Fire Red once it loads. There we go, Game Boy Advance. We click on that. Pokemon Fire Red. I think it's the second file. So now it's loading, press A button to configure. And here we go. We are playing Pokemon Fire Red on the Raspberry Pi. You can do this with any game. Well, one warning is disc games will require a BIOS. I'll do another video on that, on how to add disc games to your Raspberry Pi. But let's just test out the Pokemon quickly. So press start. See, the controls are working. Here's my sister enjoying playing Super Mario 64 with the Xbox controller that I've just synced to the Raspberry Pi for the Retropie emulator. Okay, so there you go guys, that's how to turn your Raspberry Pi into a retro gaming console. In future videos I'm going to connect an Xbox 360 controller to the Raspberry Pi, so leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching.
Coming waves across the shore. Oh, maybe you could fly my kite, babe. Maybe you could fly my kite, babe. I can hear your laughter coming waves across the shore. Oh, maybe you could fly my